Hello! Guess I got a new program here, so we'll see if this time the recording works. But welcome to your weekly rundown of Week 9. Alright, so we are going to be digging back into last week's games to catch y'all up on the current events so that when the next rundown gets done for this week, you know where everybody stands. The games, let's see. First one that we're going to obviously talk about is one that was long in the making, 8 games in the making actually, and that was a victory for myself, the 2011 Colts. And unfortunately for Doug, it happened to be over Tom Brady sucks. So, let's dig on into that game first, and let's see. My team, carried by T.Y. Hilton there with 30 points at the end. Very respectable. Only outshone by Andre Johnson, who we'll talk about a little later. But, let's see. So, Phillip River, 19 points. Very respectable showing for him. You have the T.Y. Hilton with 30 points. And Stephen Ridley with 22 points, who has really come on strong the last couple games of the season. I know that the beginning he didn't look good at all. He wasn't getting a lot of touches, being outshone by the other two running backs, but he's been getting a lot of play recently, and it looks like the Patriots are finally exposing him for what he's good at, and he's showing some numbers like last year now. So he 22 points this week, and hopefully after this bye week he can continue to rack them up for me. So, unfortunately for Doug, Tom Brady had his good game of the season this game. It's a 33-point game. Very, very solid. Adrian Peterson, 23 points, but the two of them just couldn't combine with the rest of their team to have enough to beat me. 105 points is still a very respectable total, but I had 125, and finally I got my first victory. Doug couldn't have done anything on his bench to, counteract that. I had Keenan Allen on my bench that if I played him, I could have had, 12 more points. But other than that, Matt Ryan looking like he's just going to take the back burner the rest of the season for me and hang out on the bench because he is just not looking too hot. No more weapons, and that's it. So, alright, so got my first win. Congratulations to me, and let's move on to the next matchup. We have Wingardium Leviosa and Pierre Escargot. Here we got Justin pulling out the 112-point victory over Phil's 93.56. Unfortunately, Justin's really keeping Phil down, trying to keep him out of the playoffs here. Looks like Justin's got his spot pretty locked tight. He's got a solid team here. Tony Romo, very respectable again, 20 points. Jimmy Graham, I don't think there's anything that can stop this guy, even that minor heel setback that he was, didn't have a good showing one game. But besides that, he's really been pulling in all the touchdowns, all the passes, and 23 points here. That's definitely pretty solid. Another good turnout for you was the Carolina defense. A good choice there. Very respectable, 20 points. And 112 total, very, very good. Unfortunately for Phil, you started Andy Dalton. That was not a good choice, it turned out. 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, and on 300 yards passing. Really, he blew it for you. 93, you're in there. You get a decent quarterback showing, and you could have pulled this one out, but not this week. Pierre Garçon, 17. Eddie Lacy, 21. Good showings from them. Eddie Lacy, good. 21 points. That's really respectable, especially at the beginning of the year. He was injured, and who knew what his outlook was going to be when he got back, whether James Starks was going to continue, and if he really took control, and the past couple games has been very solid. And Chris Ivory, you made the decision to start him again. You know, live and die by the Ivory. I think that's saying somewhere. It's probably in Africa. But the decision to start him with 20 points, a very good play. Hopefully he can keep that going after the break they have this week. And other than that, there's not much that you could have done to beat him because your entire bench was on bye pretty much, or injured. So couldn't do anything to beat him, and this one is just going to have to write it off and hope you can pull it off on tonight's game. So congratulations to Justin. You're pushing forward. All right, let's move on to the next game, which is Voke, the real Voke and not the Lindsay fake Voke, versus the real Slim Shady Stu. So we have Stu pulling out the victory, 115 to 109, which is really crazy to me because for Voke, Andre Johnson just was killing it. 40 points, and nothing seemed he could stop this guy. 3 touchdowns, 200-something yards, really was just on he was on a mission and nothing could stop him. And you had respectable showing from Breeze, 19 points. Not like last week when he pulled out 34 against me, which was quite unfortunate because I really was looking like I might have had a chance to beat you, but unfortunately not. And then Gronkowski, I know you ended up picking him in the draft. I don't know if it was 4th or 5th round, but seems like that's paying off here. 20 points, and he's been pretty good the last couple weeks, so hopefully he can come back from the break and keep that going. And then, so you look over at the real Slim Shady. I know you didn't have Peyton Manning this week, and Alex Smith was definitely not a comparable fill-in. Only 5.5 points, but it didn't matter. The rest of your team, Deshaun Jackson, Danny Amendola, Shady McCoy, Chris Johnson, all had double-digit numbers and very solid weeks. Congratulations to you for pulling out the victory, 115 to 109 over Voke. All right. Moving on to the next one, we have Blackman Snap versus Golden Taint. Unfortunately for Golden Taint is that Blackman Snap beat you by double of the points that you got. So this was not a good showing for Alexis this week. Aaron Rodgers, only 2 points, out with an injury. Very unfortunate. Boykin, 1.5. Golden Tate, who the team is named after, just couldn't. He was the Taint this week. It just wasn't working out. Only 3 points. Marshawn Lynch, respectable numbers at 14, but the rest of the team just didn't show up. It's unfortunate. We all have those weeks. I, more than most, have experienced that. Just got to spread it around. I got to win, and everyone else had to see what was up. And Jeremy, you got Cam Newton pulling in 18 points and Alfred Morris 18 as well. But the real story here is the Kansas City Chiefs defense pulling in 25 points, and that defense just cannot be stopped. Excellent choice to bring them into your team this year, and they're really gotten a lot of points for you. So hopefully they can keep it up, and your landslide victory here moves you 7-2, solid place for the playoffs, and congratulations. All right. The last and biggest, maybe one of the biggest upsets, pretty close. You have Matt Kelly, I need more luck. Well, he certainly got it to beat Despicable Me Lindsay, 119 to 90. Wasn't expected, as you can see, the spread here was that Lindsay was going to get 111 and Matt was going to get 94. So definitely Matt's team got the luck, pulled its weight. As you can see, Andrew Luck, 24.8 points, and Zach Stacy, 29 points. I have him in my other league, and I was very pleased with his performance that past week. And looks like the rest of your team, you have Witten with 16, and New England defense pulling a strong game with 15 against Pittsburgh. And it just added up and added up, and Lindsay couldn't beat you. RG3, 11 points, not too much. You had Matt Forte, who really was a star with 23, but the rest of your team just couldn't get outside of these, lower numbers. Unfortunately for you, that was not good enough. So here you are, 7-2, solid position, and for the playoffs. And looks like Matt is, just kind of spoiling at the moment. So we will see what happens at the end of this week. I know it's almost over, so best of luck with those who still have guys in the game tonight. I know that's Lindsay and Phil, so I guess we will... Or was that last night with Lindsay and Des Bryant? Yeah. So I'm not sure what's going on. But I was right. Justin and Vincent Jackson. I think Vincent Jackson's somewhere. All right. Either way, good luck to everybody. And this is the Week 9 rundown.